To understand how marginalized populations lived in Montevideo, it is essential to analyze the role of boarding houses, which have always been a response to the housing problem throughout the city's 300-year history. While boarding houses housed all types of marginalized people, for sexual dissidents they not only represented a precarious housing solution, but, in many cases, were the only space available in a life marked by exclusion. In 20th-century Montevideo, many dissidents were forced to leave their homes due to family and social rejection, often violent, and were even expelled when they publicly disagreed with the imposed norms. The lack of access to decent housing violated a fundamental human right, perpetuating the social and economic exclusion of these populations. Boarding houses welcomed a large proportion of these people marginalized by society. However, for a long time they were far from being spaces free of tension and discrimination. Despite being one of the few places where they could find accommodation, at first they did not accept transvestites, adding to the precariousness of the accommodations and the need to engage in clandestine sex work. Over time, boarding houses began to emerge that did allow this, but at a higher price, posing a dilemma that forced people to choose between a lower cost of living or the possibility of freely expressing their identities. Beyond the negative conditions, these collective housing units offered, in their anonymity, a way out from conservative morality. Over the years, some specific boarding houses became key spaces for sexual dissidents, such is the case of the Maldonado and Yarrow Street boarding house, remembered in many testimonies for having served as a starting point for certain social networks that led to the birth of trans organizations. Today, boarding houses continue to be a key space for understanding the history of Montevideo and its most vulnerable populations. They are a symbol of how excluded people found their own ways of living and resisting in a society that didn't allow them a place. Rescuing these places and imprinting them in memory is a way to begin to acknowledge the historical debts that Montevideo society owes in terms of rights.